All right, yesterday I walked along the coast of, I'm staying in Seogwipo, down on the southern part of Jeju Island, South Korea. And I was walking along the coast, just walking to the west along the southern coast, because I saw various little like photo op spots on Google Maps, the Hill of Storms. And it turned out to be this really awesome area where there's like all these walking trails built into the cliffs, like they made like a walking promenade along the cliffs. But at a certain point, those specific walking areas, they sort of dried up. So I bailed out and headed back. But then I was looking at the map, and according to the little trail markers on Google Maps, the trail just keeps going and going and going and going. And I realized it goes around the entire island. And I immediately had this fantasy of like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool? What if you set up hotels or Airbnbs or whatever? Because at first I was thinking like, oh, I guess I could just go as far as I can go and then jump on a bus to bail out and go back. But what if you actually set up all around the perimeter of the island, just set up different places to stay, and then just, I don't have a good sense of how long it would take. But Jeju Island's not that big. I feel like 2 weeks would probably be plenty of time to walk around the island. And that seems like it'd be so cool to just walk from one Airbnb to the next each day and just walk around the whole island. How fucking neat would that be? But then I realized it's probably, I'm sure you can walk around the outside edge of the island to some degree, but it's probably a bit, I doubt that it's a specific boutique, what's the word I'm looking for? A discreetly prepared hiking trail all the way around the island. In fact, probably most of it isn't. It's probably the same way as what I saw, where there's probably bits that are the extra touristy, really good views, and then the rest is probably just walking through normal communities or walking even on highways and stuff. Because if nothing else, the cliffs are a problem. Like I was thinking about the other way. If this thing supposedly makes an entire loop, I've already been the other way. That's where the waterfall is that empties out into the ocean. And it's all cliffside stuff up that way. And you're definitely not walking along the actual coast. So I thought I might experiment. I might go back that way and just go a little farther, just see what the next leg of the journey is like, because it appeared to be like, all right, predetermined hiking time is over. Now you just got to make your own way through a community further up the coastline. And I figured that could maybe be a good indicator of how it might be all around. And I got to assume too, there's got to be plenty of spaces on the coast. I'm by Seogwipo, it's the second biggest city, and it's still a little 50-50 as to whether you can really walk along the coast or not. There's got to be plenty of parts around the perimeter that are just random little neighborhoods and stuff, that there's no way they're all a prescribed, discrete journey set up for my twinkle toes to walk on. But I started heading that way, and again, I'm sure I sound fine right now. This always happens when I pull out the recorder. It's like when I got crazy drunk in Chiba, but I felt fine as long as I was talking to people. I was able to not feel like I was super drunk. Having something to focus on helped a lot. And then once everybody went to bed, I realized how fucked up I was. It's similar being sick. Now that I'm talking into the recorder, I'm like, oh, I feel fine now. But I didn't feel fine right up until now. I've just got to accept the fact that I finally got sick. It took a while. It took at least half a year. I've been blessed on this fucking journey that I just barely get sick. It'll be like a tiny little sickness that lasts a day. This one is actual sickness, and it's still not that bad. It's really not that bad. Little bit of coughing here and there, a little bit of runny nose, little bit of headache, little bit of less than predictable poops. But all of it is so just like not that bad. If I have to get sick, I'll take it. This is fine. But I've been like denying it. Like, yeah, it's gonna go away. It's fine. But it's not. Every day I keep waking up and it feels the same. And it's like, all right, this is probably going to be one of those things that's going to hang on for 2 weeks before it's like really gone. But even still, I'm thinking, I don't know, it's just not that bad. Maybe a week. Regardless, though, once I got out and started journeying, it's like I just can't do this. I shouldn't do this. What the fuck am I doing? Except that you're sick, stupid fuck. Don't go on a big journey, you dipshit. And I did notice along that coastline a distinct lack of washrooms on that particular trail. So it's like, I just don't want to. Why put yourself at risk? You got all the time in the world, bro. So instead, I'm just walking around these, like, the Artist's Way, all these cool parks that are in this vicinity that have just cool, like where I saw the projections at night, where they projected flowers onto the park. But, you know, it's mid-afternoon now, but that whole area, cool statues, there's just all kinds of cool shit around here. But yeah, not only do I just think like, yeah, I'm kind of sick, I shouldn't do this, and if I go extra far, I will have to take a bus back, and I just don't want to while I'm sick. At least when I'm walking around by myself, I feel like I'm a relatively harmless germ bomb. I don't want to get on a bus with some poor people who do not deserve to catch a cold. But also, it's just too fucking nice out. God damn it, I could go for some bad weather. This would be a great journey to make on a nice overcast day. But it's still above 20 degrees Celsius, super hot and warm and sunny and beautiful, but that means I gotta wear my jacket like a cape, you know, with my hood over my head and my arms covered. Because I got suntan lotion on, but I don't trust it. It's not enough. I'll still get burned. My lily white skin cannot survive this kind of weather. It's all hot and sweaty. And it's like, yeah, summer, dude. It's too nice. This fucking blows. This sucks. That'd be a way easier journey to make on a nice rainy day. Yeah, speaking of the park with the projections, I'm pretty sure this is it. Sure does look different in the day, but I think that's where I am. But yeah, I still had, even though I'm not actually going anywhere today, not going on any new adventures, I got some random ass thoughts to yammer about. And one of them is I've been giving South Korean convenience stores quite a lot of flack, just because they're not Japan, you know, and I wish they were. But I did go hit up the convenience store today just because yesterday I ate kimchi and noodles at the hotel twice in one day. So I just don't want 3 meals in a row to just be that. I was like, I'll just go to the convenience store. And I ended up finding one of those weird little push pops where, you know, it's still got the classic Korean quality of every meal is every meal. You know, every one item has as many different ingredients as is humanly possible to put in. So it's just this crazy ass push pop with fish and meat and various random proteins and just, I don't know what it is. Really spicy though, which is actually kind of good when you're kind of sick. Spicy don't hurt. It's kind of good. Just kind of shocks your system a little. But it was a slightly bigger than usual convenience store because it's over by one of the waterfalls, one of the touristy areas. So it had more like areas to sit and stuff that, you know, a lot of the convenience stores do have a little area to sit, but a lot of them don't. They're generally a lot smaller than Japanese convenience stores. The vibe is much more like an American bodega, I find. But I was sitting there and I was eating this thing, and it was one of the rare times that I spent some time at the convenience store, and I could just kind of spend a little time to feel the vibe and feel the, you can just feel the pressure level, kind of. Maybe that's a weird way to put it, but of like, how busy is this? What's going on here? And I think I had a little realization to kind of, it's one thing like, haha, okay, dumb white guy from Canada doesn't like the South Korean convenience stores. Funny, he's complaining. But, there's no point, and I got my complaints out. It's like on the surface, without understanding what's going on, I don't really like these convenience stores. That's fine. There's no point in me rehashing that opinion. Who gives a shit? No one cares what I think in the first place. But now that that's the baseline, it's like, okay, now let's move on from that. Let's try to figure out why. Like, what is it I'm not understanding? What's going on around here? Because I guess one thing I've realized about South Korea is if they wanted their convenience stores to be like the Japanese convenience stores, there would be nothing stopping them. It's really clear that when South Korea decides they want something to be a certain way, it will be that way. Like the emergency buttons that are in every park and every washroom. All of them, literally. I've seen hundreds of them. They're everywhere. Like they decided this is how it's going to be, and then that's how it is. Or I was thinking even the train system, taking the train from Seoul to Jeju and then to Busan. So I got to experience not only the train system between major cities like Seoul and Busan, but Jeju is kind of out of the way. It doesn't particularly lead anywhere that I could tell. But that system was still immaculate and amazing. And the Jeju train station is way bigger and way better than it should be for a city that size. They clearly decided we are going to have awesome trains everywhere. Our trains are going to rule. Our train system is going to rule. Our train stations are going to rule. We've decided it, and it will be that way. Like that very much is the vibe in South Korea. Once a decision is made of things are going to be this way, they're that way everywhere. You know, the trains are beautiful everywhere. The emergency buttons are everywhere. Every city, every random park I was in. Now I'm on a freaking island and it's still that way. So the point I'm endlessly repeating is if they wanted their convenience stores to be different than they are, they would be. Their convenience stores are this way because this is how they want it to be. So, got to accept that. I like Japanese convenience stores, but that's not what they need around here, and that's not what they have around here. Oh, here's another one of those stamp boxes. I noticed another one of these yesterday too. Okay, so this one actually does have the stamp and the ink pad, but the other one I found yesterday did not. So I found 4 of them, and it's still 50-50, still a 50% chance as to whether the stamp is there and in good working condition or not. But again, I don't know. I don't get that stuff. Stamp that you've been here. That's not really my style. My stamp goes on my soul. So yeah, this big realization I came to, as always, standard disclaimer, this is nothing. This is stupid. This is anybody else probably could have figured this out way quicker than me. There's nothing deep about this. There's nothing here that everybody doesn't already know. But when I figure something out for myself, it's like, oh, hey, I feel accomplished. I feel proud of myself that I actually figured something out instead of just fumbling around, confused and complaining. Why are the convenience stores different? What I realized is people just don't eat at the convenience stores the way they do in Japan. And it's like, just walking around these various South Korean cities, there's tons of restaurants and like the doors are always open to the street and you look in and it's tables full of people sitting around eating stuff and there's just mountains of them, tons. That kind of stuff exists in every country, but there's really a lot in South Korea. And I remember I was watching this one lady before I came here, just looking up YouTubers. This chick who was like a beautiful blonde lady. So I assume her whole deal in life is probably significantly different than mine. But she mentioned how one of the things she found a bit uncomfortable living in South Korea is how difficult it is to eat by yourself. That it's such a couples culture, at the very least, if not, just like a whole big group of people, that it's literally hard to go to restaurants sometimes by yourself. It's expected that there will be 2 people at minimum. And she even had like a guide, like helpful tips, how to just get food solo, where that's obviously not the case in Japan. In Japan, they're all about solo eating, like to the point that there's ramen restaurants, famous chains and stuff, where you sit not only by yourself, but there's dividers between you and the next person, and there's a little like divider between you and the person that hands you your stuff. You don't even need to make eye contact with a human. Obviously, that whole culture, that works way better for me in my solo life. I love that shit. And then a huge part of it is people that just eat at the convenience stores. The convenience stores are intended to be a totally reasonable option if you just are by yourself and you need some food. You know, if you're a salaryman, you're working hard, whatever. You stop in, you have a zillion different options. And yeah, that's the big realization I had, is that they just don't, that's not how things work around here. There's a lot less solo eating. It's way more focused on group restaurant type eating. And then suddenly the way the convenience stores are set up made so much more sense to me, because like, for example, the one I was at today, they did have, I was really scrutinizing, and it's like, okay, they do have a little more stuff. Like they had the sandwiches, they had these 2 sandwiches that, again, I couldn't even guess what was in them. I almost bought one just as like, oh, this will be like just something funny I can complain about, but it's like, why? I'm just gonna be annoyed by this weird sandwich. 2 different sandwiches, both just full of random stuff. And then I got the little push pop, because of all the things, I guess the push pop is my favorite, but I don't like it that much. But they do have like little, if you wanted to microwave stuff, like you can get little like spaghetti and meatballs and that type of stuff. And then they have like little onigiris, but they're so not like Japanese onigiri. You know, it's all spicy and weird. But they only had one of each of these things. And I've learned that I really do need to check the dates just to be sure, because there's a decent chance that this stuff has been sitting there for a bit, even with this very limited inventory. You know, they do have extras tucked away somewhere in the back or whatever, but only one of each thing on display. Or if it's one of these things where it's like buy 2, get 1 free, oftentimes there's only 3 available. There's no extra stuff. But it's also not like in Japan, where if you go to the convenience store if you just happen to be there at the wrong time of day, the selection might not be that good, because they're constantly bringing in stuff throughout the day. Constant fresh food all the time. You see the little trucks coming and the guy unloading the stuff all through the day. And again, that is just big time not what's happening here. Here it's like, all right, we'll put one out. We'll put one of this item out, and it's got a shelf life of the next, 2 to 3 days. Hopefully someone will buy it in that time. Like the complete opposite, in fact, of the Japanese way, where that thing it's gone for sure. You just got to hope you can actually get there while there's still some left. Nothing is sitting around in Japanese convenience stores. So yeah, I mean, the vast majority of the stores, it is just kind of packaged goods, cookies and like mass-produced cake things and whatever, like all the same type of, but even that stuff in Japan, it's just so much better, because in Japan it's clearly moving, it's like here's some kind of a crepe thing with fresh cream and all this great shit, where the South Korean version is just like, here's like a little Debbie cake, here's just something that can sit on the shelf for 2 weeks and it's fine. And I guess the ultimate evidence is that all of the convenience store chains, they're all South Korea specific. They're not chains I've ever seen anywhere else, except 7-Eleven. There's a bunch of 7-Elevens, and the 7-Elevens here are exactly like the Happy to See Yous, the E24s, the GS25, all those stores, they're all the same. 7-Eleven just falls into line with how things work here. So that's the trouble. Of course the trouble is me, I would be insane to be like, it's the world that is wrong. But in this case, it super duper is me. I'm just wanting something out of the convenience stores that I had gotten used to in Japan, and that I just presumed. When I got to South Korea and I saw that they don't have as many convenience stores as Japan, but it's a lot still. It is a lot. They're everywhere. So I just assumed, hey, there's a 7-Eleven. There's another 7-Eleven. There's another one. This is going to be like Japan, and it's just not. It's just really not. It's not even close. But it's kind of nice to have the realization, just don't fight it, dog. Just don't fight it. I still love the coffee. Plenty of great drinks. The drink game in South Korea is great. It's all good. Lots of delightful coffee products, and the occasional time I delve out into something else. I just saw an ad on I'm getting all the South Korean ads on YouTube now, I still don't know what the stuff is. I got like this little, it's like a little, the one I got was like a melon milk. But I don't know if it is milk. I don't know. But it's just in this little plastic container with a little foil top. The guy asked if I wanted a straw, but I just peeled off the foil top and just drank it like that. And it was pretty delicious, but I don't actually know what it is or what it's called, but I saw an ad for it on YouTube and I was like, oh yeah, I had one of those once. I should try some more of those. Those were good. So I guess, yeah, I just gotta focus on what I like. I like the drinks. The drinks are great. And then just gotta make my peace that the rest of it is, I mean, I think even, I don't know, I feel like even if you go, it's more similar to North America where, you know, the ham and cheese sandwich may have been there for a couple of days. It's just here they don't have the ham and cheese sandwich. It would be ham and cheese and tuna and jelly. And I'm not fucking kidding. That's what it is. I don't know. Maybe they don't specifically make that, but just pick 4 random ingredients that sort of can go together and put them all together. But yeah, even one thing I did kind of like is you can get these sandwiches occasionally that are like cream, like whipped cream and strawberries. But again, it's similar to, they have the cream sandwiches in Japan, but in Japan it's the most brand new, delicious fucking thing you've ever had. Here, I only see every maybe 10th convenience store, maybe even less than that they actually have this thing. And then even when they do, it's like, yeah, this just isn't the same. This has been sitting here since yesterday and it's all right. But yeah, I guess it's a good thing that I'm starting to branch out a little bit and at least, you know, learning a little of being able to, since I'm at a place with a mini fridge right now, you know, buying my own kimchi, buying some hard-boiled eggs, at least I just can't rely on the convenience stores because that's just not what they're for. Like, they really are for if you're just like desperate, if you just really do need to just go get a quick solo bite. It'll have something, the same way as you might feel about eating at a convenience store in North America. Like when I visited Japan, 90 straight days where I went to convenience stores every day. If you did that in North America, you'd have a pretty underwhelming time. So, essentially that's kind of what I was trying to do here. It's like, of course, going to the convenience store every day is an underwhelming experience that starts to wear off real fast and you'd prefer not to do. Except in Japan. In Japan, it's like actually awesome. It's completely realistic to do that. You know, people who live in Japan, who have been there for years, of course they don't feel that way about convenience stores, but as a visitor, believe me, dude, those convenience stores, you can easily eat there several times a day for months on end. It's no problem. Just imagining it now, I'm just like, in my mind, I'm walking the aisles and I'm thinking of all the stuff I still didn't even try in a Japanese convenience store. There's so much stuff. Anyway, that was my big realization, my big revelation of the day. I also did some research about the mountain here, the volcano, Mount Hallasan. And I was pretty sure it was dormant, although I didn't actually look it up, but yeah, about 5,000 years ago it went dormant, so that's good. I was looking up information about the volcano, and I'm really thinking, I don't think climbing up to the top is in my future. But I'll talk about that, I'll talk about it next, but I don't need to do that right now. I'm just so hot. And I'm flagging a little bit. So I'll tell you some crap I learned about walking up the volcano in a moment, but let's fade away. Let's fade out right now. I just walked around in a loop, so I'm at the good old view where you can see down into the grotto of the waterfall. So here, have some waterfall ASMR as I stare at the peak. I'm staring at the peak of the fucking Mount Hallasan right now. All right, it's the next day, and yeah, I'm still just floating in the middle where I mean, I guess this is pretty common when you're sick, where it seems worse at night, or like maybe it's because, you're asleep or something and your body's less active in fighting the sickness, where like at night trying to go to bed or in the morning when I woke up, I thought I was getting sicker. Like, I definitely feel worse than yesterday. But then once I'm up and about and doing stuff, and today, big bad laundry day, doing some laundry, standing outside the laundromat right now, I feel pretty good. I feel better than yesterday. So it's like, am I getting more sick or less sick? I don't know. Both. Still just floating in the midst of minor sickness. So yeah, I can't deny at this point that I got sick. I finally did get sick, but it's so minor compared to, the very first episode of this podcast was about the first time I went to Japan in 2019 and how incredibly sick I was during that whole process, but that I had no choice because everything was pre-booked. And how totally weird that was, that it was the amazing excitement of going to Japan for the first time, where at the same time I was in just a brutal sickness nightmare. One of the sickest I've ever been. I mean, compared to that, this is like a 2 out of 10, this sickness. It's like, fine. I mean, I'm definitely sick, but I would still count this as incredible travel luck. It's like, hey man, if you're gonna get sick, this is the kind of sick you wanna be. No biggie. And yeah, for the last few days, I haven't really left my neighborhood at all. A little bit, I guess, going to the Hill of Storms, but even that, very close, not that far. But if you're gonna be stuck in your neighborhood while you're a little under the weather, this is a good fucking place to be. I mean, there's palm trees, there's fucking multiple waterfalls, it's beautiful ocean views. Hot as fuck, but on the plus side, sunny and amazing, and it looks like a Bounty commercial. Bounty, the chocolate bar. It's actually, it's cooling down a little today. Today would have been nice and breezy too. Would have been an alright day to go on a little stroll, but hey, whatever. Gotta do laundry. I'm literally wearing my last shirt. I have no choice. It's nice though, this laundromat is really nearby, and every time I've walked by, it's always totally empty, and it is today too. Delightful. Man, I love being by myself. A couple days ago, I went to the communal kitchen area in the hotel I'm at, and it was late at night and nobody was there. And I was like, I love it when I'm just by myself. Where last night, it was like damn near midnight and it was just full of people, and then even more people came before I left. It's like, dude, I guess this ties into the thing I heard about how something I'd never noticed myself, but that apparently coffee shops don't open till like 10 o'clock. The only one that opens early is Starbucks. And it's just that brutal heat in the afternoon. Plus now, additionally, I'm on an island. I'm on island time. Yeah, I guess people just don't get up in the morning. Fuck getting up in the morning. People after my own heart, man. It's nice too. I was thinking too how this hotel, like, the more I walk around, the more hotels I see. I was guessing that there were like 30 hotels in this neighborhood, and I think actually I undershot. I think there's more than that. There's so many hotels. And I don't know for sure if mine is the cheapest one. Mine could just be the only one that's actually doing Airbnb stuff. I don't know. But $20 a day is pretty cheap. And I was thinking how awesome that is too. I mean, obviously I'm in circumstances everybody else can't necessarily follow. I know you got to be home because you got a job or you got a family or you own property or whatever. You can't just transplant to somewhere else. But in the event that you can, like $20 a day, like I've definitely had apartments, little crappy rooms like that I've rented that were less than that, but I've also had many that were more than that. $600 a month, I mean, that's totally just basically comparable to whatever things would cost. Even if you're trying to be cheap and you're in a crappy little town in eastern Canada, I don't know, I was surprised how the rent was just not as cheap as you'd like it to be. No matter where you go in North America. If you can just transplant to somewhere else, like it costs about the same. It's crazy. It's so delightful. Again, God bless you, my dear deceased dad. I wish you'd gotten to spend a little more of this money yourself, but hey, I'm taking up the mantle. I'm the next generation who lazes about with the family fortune. But yeah, I mean, it's not that much, and it seems so nice here. But I guess I've felt this many places with like Busan. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll stay in Busan. I don't even want to leave. Here I'm like, yeah, maybe I should just stay in Jeju. I do have a little more time on my South Korea visa after my 6 weeks here. But I'm sure by 6 weeks here, maybe I'll be just ready to go somewhere else. But that's the feeling I get for now, is like, yeah, this is just nice. Just casual, just relaxed. I could see staying here. Fuck it, it's just nice. And the pollution level, actually this sickness I've got made me think of the pollution. It's like, yeah, that's kind of what the pollution's been like. There's been very few actual, like, everything's fine days. Everything is a little polluted generally, but it's not bad. It's like fine. It's doable. It's dealable. I do kind of get the sense, though. I don't know. It seems like Busan had those occasional spikes that were awful, but on a day-to-day, it actually seemed like Busan had slightly better air than Jeju. But I can't say for sure. That's just anecdotal. And yeah, I mean, by the local standards, this ain't so bad. It's the 2 out of 10. The same way I'm 2 out of 10 sick, the air is 2 out of 10 sick around here. I don't know, just being a small island surrounded by ocean. Be nice if it could just blow away all the pollution nice and easily, but I guess I don't really understand how pollution patterns work. Apparently that is not how it works. While I'm waiting for laundry, what do we got here? Step inside. Laundry ASMR, 21 minutes, and then I gotta switch over to the dryer. I thought I might yammer a little bit about what I learned about hiking up the big volcano here on Jeju Island. Because it's quite an incredible sight. Just when you're walking around this island, you can see it from all over, and it's, and I looked it up, it's 2,000 meters, which I have not crossed beyond 1,000 in any of my various adventures. Not even really close to 1,000. I don't know, I know I passed 700 at one point. I'm not sure if I got to 800. But also, some of my suspicions about how mountaineering works, it turns out are kind of true. Like as far as measuring these heights, since it's from sea level, and there'll be times when I'm at 275 meters and it feels crazy high. And then other times where I'm at 400 meters and it doesn't feel very high at all. And there is a term for that. I don't remember the term now, but it is like the relative height is kind of the more relevant one. Distance from sea level kind of doesn't mean anything, you know? Because if the surrounding area is at sea level, then great. Then you're really high up. But if everything else is also relatively high up, then the peak you're on, it's probably not that relevant, you know, what meterage, but everybody just measures from sea level because, you know, it's a universal measurement. And I guess, I don't know, maybe because it sounds cooler, but it really isn't the relevant measurement. If you're a real mountaineer person, what really matters is how high up did you go based on everything around you. Like, for example, Everest, you know, Everest is insane. It's like, you know, 9,000 meters. But it's actually sitting on a 5,000 meter plateau. So yeah, it's 9,000 meters from sea level, but realistically it's, you know, between 3,000 and 4,000 meters. And I'm not saying that's small, that's really big. But you're not climbing 9,000 meters, you're just fucking not. But in this case, Mount Hallasan, it's called, this non-active volcano in the center of Jeju. It really is 2,000 meters because, I mean, the sea is right there. It's a small island. You can walk from the sea to the volcano. I don't know, probably a couple hours? Maybe a few hours. But yeah, you can just see this thing in the distance, and it's really impressive and huge. So I was just kind of thinking, like, I wonder. It's also shield-shaped, which means it's not tall and spiky. It's like laying flat. It's quite a gentle ascent, and it just seems like, could I do that? Why not? You know, I've been doing all this hiking, like, this would be, say, triple what a lot of my hikes were height-wise. I mean, that's a bit crazy, but sort of doable maybe. But a lot of it is just the sense of adventure, or the sense of like, oh, that seems like it would be a cool thing to do when you're looking at it from the ground. But as I did some research, more and more, I don't think I will be hiking up the volcano. So I'll tell you what I learned. So there's a few different options to get up, but some of them are smaller hikes that kind of cut across the, like diagonally across the edge and don't go to the very top. There's really only 2 paths that go all the way to the top. And none of them are super easy to get to from Seogwipo. Got to take some buses, maybe take a transfer. Much easier to get to from Jeju City, which is the bigger city to the north. I'm down on the south. There's not really southern approaches to the volcano. So that's the first problem. I'd have to get up way wicked early and take transit for 90 minutes or 2 hours to get to the beginning and be all set. It's hard to get up early for me anyway, and then that on top of it, it seems like it'd be better to be situated in Jeju City. But then I was thinking like, yeah, I do have more time after my time here. I mean, I could just do that. I could just go to the other city on Jeju Island. Why not? But there's the entrance from the north, and then there's one on the east. So a lot of people, go up one, come down the other. But I was looking up people on YouTube and online, and I found a guy who was about my age who hadn't been hiking in 10 years. And I was like, okay, that seems like a good, let's take him. Because I'm doing okay. I think I'm doing all right hiking-wise, but I also know the reality of I'm impressed with my own ability to hike because there's so many ways it could go wrong. I try to be fairly active, but I only ever realized that exercise is important, I don't know, when I was in my mid-30s. It's not like I just grew up doing this stuff. And now that I'm in my early-ish 40s, it's starting to, I just have so many things I was worried about. I got a bad shoulder, I got a bad knee, I got flat feet, fucking toes, I have to always wear spacers so I don't develop bunions. All of these things that it's man, I'm just so thankful none of these have been a big problem. I've been able to overcome all of these and go on big hikes and everything's been fine. So I think a guy who hasn't been hiking in 10 years, I'm let's take him as the equivalent. That seems all right. And it took that guy 9 hours to go up and back down. Just, man, that is a long trip. That's a crazy long trip. Even just to walk across town for 9 hours. I don't know the last time if I've ever done that, let alone go up a fucking mountain and back down. But then I found this other couple who were more fit and did more hikey type stuff. And it only took them 8 hours, not a huge difference. But they did describe the thing I've been noticing this whole time, how coming down is worse than going up. And they said the same thing, that going down was the problem because it's 4 fucking hours, 4 straight hours of going down the mountain. And these 2 paths, as is usually the case in South Korea, are really well developed. They're really good about making their hiking trails really well delineated. And if there's ever a tough section, they will build literal walkways and wooden steps and stuff. And it's the same here. It seems like the entire walk all the way up and all the way down the other side is really well developed, really well labeled, not physically a problem, but you're still just stepping down for 4 hours. And there are some parts where it's kind of, somewhat more natural, awkward steps. You do have to be mindful and careful the whole time. And they were saying these 2 fit as a fiddle people, they both had very sore knees by the time they got to the bottom. They wish they had brought painkillers. That's how bad it was. And that definitely made me very uncomfortable because of all my various ailments, my knee is probably the worst one. And as long as I'm careful about it, it's okay. But even just going down, 600 meters, it makes my knee hurt a lot. Going down 2,000 meters, that's so fucking crazy. That's so much. And I haven't had any huge knee problems since this, but I guess initially when I first started developing knee problems, and I didn't know yet that I did, it was only on my left knee. My right knee is great. It's just my left knee it's all a scoliosis thing. My left knee is connected to my right shoulder, and it's a whole curvation. It's extra pressure on my body, bullshit. But there was a time in Montreal before I realized that my knee had gotten bad. I used to run up the subway steps. The metro in Montreal is really deep underground. So I used to always, instead of taking the escalator, I would jog all the way up these steps just as exercise. And I whacked out my knee. This was way back before COVID. This was many years ago. But it was so injured and so fucked up that I could barely walk for the next 2 weeks. I could barely walk. I was like an old man. Walking upstairs was just death. And it just put the fear in me of like, I have to be so mindful of my knee. I cannot let that happen again. And how is that not going to happen if I go 4 fucking hours of walking downhill? I just think that's a terrible idea. So, I mean, that's probably the big thing. But then there's many other little things that, I'll still go through it all because, hey, maybe you're interested in doing this. Maybe you want to come to Jeju and do this. I can give you the basic layout of how it works. But even beyond that one big problem, there's lots of smaller problems that I think just wouldn't work for me so well. They have a system, which I think this is a good idea. You do have to register. It's free, but you have to register a day that you're going to go and pick either really early morning or a bit later in the morning start time. And then they send you a QR code. So I think the idea is just so there's not too many people on the mountain and just so they know who's there. You know, if you don't scan your QR code at the end of the day, they know somebody's up on the mountain. It's a good system. It's a good thing to do. But the trouble with that is not only just the getting up early, which is a big problem for me in general, but having a specific day where you have to go do this. That is so tough for me. Because what if it's a bad pollution day? What if it's one of these just awful days all of a sudden where the AQI is above 100? That's not the day to go hike up a mountain, but then you're stuck. What if even it's just raining? What if the weather's just bad? That's your day, you know? You might not be able to set up another day. I'm not sure how busy it is. I mean, presumably it's pretty busy. It's pretty popular. And even just because of my bad sleep schedule, what if I just have insomnia? What if that's the day? What if the day before that I can't fall asleep till 5 in the morning? Like, what I really need is I just need a day for everything to line up. I need a day where it's like, wow, I slept really well last night and the weather's good and everything's just feeling great. I'm going to go do this right now. And that's just not possible. This mountain is too big, too prominent, too popular, too famous, too organized. Again, and none of that's a bad thing. I think it's very good. I like the QR code system. I think that's a really good idea. They don't just let people go up there and just cross your fingers that everyone will come back okay. That's great, but it's awkward. And for my fucking slipshod life, it's that feeling of like, oh, geez, I got to go do a presentation tomorrow or something. You know, it's like, oh, no, tomorrow's the day. Like, I cannot have insomnia tonight. I need to get a good night rest. And then I got to get up early in the morning because you also, you know, it's like, I also go crazy slow. That's, I guess, the trick to making sure my knee doesn't hurt is once you get into a rhythm of just really slowly hiking, you stop realizing how slow you're going. It's just the pace. And then it feels way better because I don't get out of breath and I could just get in a little Zen mode and I just hike. I'm pretty confident I could do that to get to the top. The 2,000 meters up, it would be a lot, but I'm pretty sure I could do it. But I don't think there's any good way to come back down without injuring my knee. And I don't know that, I mean, surely, I don't know, 9 hours, you know? Surely I could reach that pace, maybe. But I don't know, maybe I'm even slower than that. Like maybe, because there's all these regulations of like you have to leave by X time. And then there's markers on the way up the mountain. You cannot pass further than here. Like if it's 1:30 in the afternoon right now and you're only getting here now, go back. You can't keep going, you know? Like they don't want people to get stuck up there in the middle of the night. So you have to reach a certain pace. And I'm still relatively confident I could do that. I think going up, I could probably do that. But then I would want to go even slower on the way down just to not fuck myself up. And I just don't think that's possible. I don't think, I think it's just not for me. This is not meant for me. It's just too much. It's just too big. It's too organized. It's not just a fun exploratory hike. And then I also realized like what do I care anyway? You know, it looks cool from the ground. You look at it and the idea of going up there is some epic shit, like a Lord of the Rings journey. That sounds really cool. But the reality is I don't care about getting to peaks. I don't care about getting my stamp that I did a thing. I don't care about like saying I did a specific thing. I don't care about seeing a specific landmark. I mean, on the top, there's a caldera. I bet it looks pretty cool. You get to look down and there's like a little lake in the divot at the top. I bet that's pretty rad. But again, I'm just going to stare at it and wonder how long I'm supposed to stare before I can keep going. Like things like that just don't mean that much to me. Saying I ascended the mountain doesn't mean that much to me. I would just want to do it for the experience, for the adventure. And in those cases, like, I've learned what I like way better is like Ome is my platonic ideal at Ome Station in Tokyo, where you walk up a bit, but then you're just walking across. You're walking across a mountain ridge and you get all the amazing views. That's what I really like. I don't need to be going up the whole time, and I definitely don't need to be going down the whole time. But the last thing I was hanging on to, because I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll still do this someday, but I was really at this point thinking like, there's plenty of other stuff to do on Jeju. I don't need to do this. There's too many things going against me here. I'm not even quite sure. The more you unravel the reality of it, I'm not even quite sure what I think I would get out of this that is, that I give a fuck about. But, you never know. I could go hole up in Jeju. I could make all the plans. I could do all the stuff. The last thing, though, that was really kind of still spurring me on is like, well, what? Just the not knowing, just the wanting to explore, because that's what I want way more. I just like exploring, like not knowing what's going to come next. That's where I can just go to any neighborhood, any random place, and just explore it. And that's cool to me. I don't need to go to the thing that someone else set up for me or the thing that someone else says is cool. I don't give a fuck. I just want to know, like, what is it like? But then it's like, but we got the magic of YouTube. I can see what it's like. I can find entire hikes all the way up this fucking bitch. Or, somewhat edited. But I did. I went and looked up the 2 routes and I watched some of it. And it's not bad, but I guess it really demystified it. Where similarly to, hiking up mountains in Japan or anywhere, it doesn't really feel like you're on a mountain most of the time. It just feels like you're in trees, walking through a path in a forest. You can only be aware that you're even on a mountain when there's an opening in the trees and you can see through. This is kind of similar, where because it's only 2,000 meters, it's not like Fuji where the top is just like, Mars. It's all pretty lush pretty much the whole way up. And people go up in winter, and that seems pretty fascinating. Actually, I think I might be more interested in that because it's so tropical here. I was shocked to see, like, in winter, there's snow up there, and that would actually be kind of cool. But as you go up, since it's not really that steep, it's a gradual ascent, it is just like you're walking across a field, or you're walking through some trees, and you're walking through a little forest, and you're walking across a glen, and it just all is just like, well, whatever. I've been to places that look like all these things. It's nothing like unique, really. I've seen incredible, amazing views. Maybe not from quite that high up, but even that, I guess I have from like an airplane, Like, I just really think the only thing about it that would be distinctly unique would be the caldera at the top. Other than that, also because it's so prescribed, because they set up their hiking so well in South Korea, the vast majority of it is just, there's a little guide rope on this side and a guide rope on that side. Stay in between them and just walk on this wooden walkway for 9 hours. So the more I researched it, I'm like, I think it's all right. I think it's all right that I don't do this. I'm not sure what I would get out of it besides incredible knee pain that could like literally lay me up, where I might just not be able to do anything for a couple of weeks after that if I because it's that pressure. Like, you really gotta go. You gotta get up there and you gotta get back down. It's just such a, like, even if you go at a good clip, if it takes 8 goddamn hours, and I would want to go at the clip that takes 12 fucking hours, 10 hours, like, I don't want to hurt myself. I think I just had to accept, the more I looked into it, it's just not for me. It's just not a thing that I can realistically do, or it wouldn't be a smart thing to do. And then, as I started trying to unravel, like, what would I even get out of this? And it's like seeing the caldera and just telling people that I did it. And there's so little equity in that. No one gives a shit. I do find we're in a bit of a society where people think that way a lot, or like, post on your Instagram your aspirational view of your life, or like trying to convince everybody how cool your achievements are and how exciting all the shit is that you do. But nobody cares. It's like a little kid on a diving board, and it's like, Mom, look at me, Mom. Look at the thing that I did. And it's like the adult version of that. Hey, look, I did the thing. I hiked up the famous mountain. I did the big thing. And it's like, no one cares. people are like, oh, that's neat, cool, and then they just move on with their day. Like, that's not a good reason to do anything. So yeah, again, I mean, I think I've established that pretty firmly with this podcast, that I am fine just going anywhere. I'll pick a place and I'll make it interesting because I'm the one who's there. I guess that's how I feel about things. I have an egocentric view of travel. These places are interesting because I'm there, because I'm seeing it, because I experienced it, Not because someone else set it up for me, not because someone else said it was cool. I don't give a fuck about that. And I just really was kind of surprised when I saw these YouTube videos and you see the view of what it's like when you're on the mountain, and even the view from the top of the mountain. It's so much less epic than from the bottom. From the bottom, you look at it and you imagine that journey and it seems incredible. But then from the top, it's just a trail. It's just a trail like every other trail. It's like, So, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to be going up Mount Hallasan. It's nice, though, that we're in the internet YouTube world, because like this one blog that I found was saying that these people had a hard time finding English information about how all the processes work and how to, do this whole hike. So that's one reason they made the blog, is just to pass on the information that they learned. And it's like, nice, because it seemed very easy for me. One little Google search, ding, 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 thank you. And even just being able to go look at it. Because that would draw me more than anything. If I just want to know what it's like up there. Even if I went halfway up and just came back down or whatever, I just want to see what it's like. But you can just see through YouTube that, it's just like every other hike I've ever done. It's not different at all. It's totally the same. It's just like 3 hikes stapled onto each other. It just keeps going. And physically speaking, that's not a good idea. Man, I guess I said this before too, right? Like, I feel fine. I feel so not sick right now. I mean, I can feel it. My head is kind of swimmy, and I can feel deep in the back of my mind that I'm sick, but I don't actively feel like I'm sick. But I know tonight I will. Tomorrow morning I will. But again, hey, whatever. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth if I can just feel okay during the afternoon. I feel like, though, tomorrow might be time to finally go do something a little more. But I'm still glad there's no other people here at this laundromat. Still don't want to go far enough that I have to take a bus back. Still putting off my dentist research because I don't want to make any dental people sick. Definitely still just sick. Just gotta wait for this to go. But sick with a lowercase s. Barely sick. And I think my laundry, this is the spin cycle. 5 more minutes to go. Nice. So there's the Mount Hallasan update. I don't know. Surely I'll have some other dumb shit to talk about in this episode. That feels like it's not quite enough. I literally just did nothing. Maybe because this machine spit out tons of 50-cent coins. Maybe I'll go do that. I have $20 worth of 50-cent coins because $10 wasn't quite enough. It's a little bit of an expensive laundromat. So $10 is not enough to do laundry and buy detergent and hit up the dryer. So I had to get $20 worth of coins. I have tons of these coins. But I noticed down the street there's one of these little machines where you can get the 50-cent coffee. My favorite ass thing. And I don't think I've gotten one since I've been on Jeju. Have I? Maybe I got one. I don't know. Anyway, let's go hit it up. There's a couple old men sitting next to this machine. Let's go get a tiny little coffee. There's a 7-Eleven I didn't know was there, connected to the Lucite Hotel. But Pine Hill Hotel, for presumably one of the cheaper hotels in the area. I've had no problems. I am enjoying it. It is very nice. This whole neighborhood, just nice. Jeju Island, very nice. This is kind of ridiculous, but just since I have this huge pocket full of 50-cent coins or 500 won coins, that, you know, obviously next time I do laundry, these will be handy, but it just feels like I have an insane amount of coins. And this machine's a little different than usual. Usually they have like sugar coffee, milk coffee, cream coffee, iced or hot, ginger tea a lot of times, which is actually pretty good. Or there's like a little Korean tea also that I don't know quite what it is. It's kind of sweet, and it sort of has the smell of slightly burnt popcorn. Again, it's not bad, but I only got it once or twice just to test. It's just kind of weird. This one had mochaccino and cappuccino, and I'm like, I've never seen those in these little machines. They're 50 cents each. Let's get both. So let's try the mochaccino first. Generically sugary. I don't taste the mocha part at all. Let's try the cappuccino. Oh wait, I had them backwards. That's definitely the mocha one. The mocha one's good. Now let's pour them both together because they're both 2 little half cups. Tasty. I think the cappuccino one is just a different name for the standard kind of milk and sugar in the tiny coffee. And then the mocha one has just got a little teeny bit, because I noticed that one also had a hot chocolate. So yeah, it's just add a little teeny hot chocolate into the mix. God, these are so good though. Little teeny 50-cent coffees. Fuck, I love them. Oh, that's good. All right, well, laundry almost done. 37 seconds, perfect. So yeah, I'm sure I'll have at least one more little thing to tack onto this episode. Let's do a nice little fade out. What it'll be, I don't know. I have no other plans for today. I think I'm gonna treat myself again because I'm somewhat sickly with just some McDonald's. Fuck it. I've at least only been eating McDonald's every 3 or 4 days. That's not so bad, because I swear I was going to fucking Burger King, because there was like a Burger King across the street from my place in Seoul. There we go. And a Burger King across the street from my place in Busan, and a Burger King within a 20-minute walk of my place in Jeju. I think I have averaged on this trip to South Korea, it has been out of control. I have gone to Burger King 4 days out of the week on average, at least. Maybe 5 sometimes. It's pretty fucking repulsive behavior. But I'm getting my shit together a little bit here in Jeju. I only go get the fast food every few days. This is a nice little thing. It's a lot more reasonable. That's how fast food should be done, you know? Once a week. This is like evening out to a little more than once a week. But like 3 times every 2 weeks, whatever. You know, that's not so crazy. All right, yeah, I'm just rambling. So let me put this thing away so I can deal with laundry. Well, that was kind of good timing, where just as my clothes drying was almost done, another dude came in to do some laundry and just had that to, walked in, does the overall appraisal of the room, so it's easy to tell he had not been there before. And it's not like it was complicated, but I did spend the first few minutes I was in there just like sitting there slowly Google translating every little sign just to make sure I knew what was going on. So I got to just give him the quick rundown of like, oh yeah, okay, so it all runs on the 500 won coins. You got to put a bill in here. It spits out the money here. There doesn't seem to be anywhere to put detergent necessarily. I think you just pour it in the drum with all your laundry. That's what I did. Seemed to work fine. So I got to pass on, do a little quick good Samaritan laundry buddy help. And then just at that point, my laundry only had 1 minute to go in the dryer. So I also wasn't just milling around, because again, I don't know how contagious I am, but But if I can not get people sick, I will not get them sick. Or even that. And then I was like, oh yeah, and I put my laundry in for 22 minutes in the dryer, and it's all super duper dry, so that's plenty. You might even not need 22 minutes. That could be too much. Pass on my deep well of wisdom and experience of just having got there an hour before him. But he asked where I was from, and I was like, oh, Canada. And he had this accent that, it's like, I've heard that accent, but I can't place where it is. So I was like, hey, so where are you from, buddy? And it's Chilsimni. I was like, yeah, of course. It's a very, very light German accent, though. I think that's why I couldn't clock it. It wasn't stereotypical enough. But once he said it, I was like, yeah. But then all I could say is the same thing I say to every German person I meet is like, I've never quite made it to Germany. I've only been to the Netherlands. And they all say the same thing. They're like, close enough. Which I feel like is exactly what I would say if somebody said like, oh yeah, I never made it to Canada. I've only been to America. I'd be like, close enough. It's the same goddamn thing. A guy just went by. This is making me realize that there are definitely fewer of the scooter delivery guys on this island, because they're everywhere else in South Korea. And they're a fucking menace to pedestrians. I just realized I haven't seen a ton of them here. But this guy just went by on a, what are those things called? A Segway? It's like the gyroscope. I've never been on one, so I don't quite get how they work, but I guess, you don't have to balance. They balance you somehow and you go along. Anyway, he was on one of those, and he had a little delivery bag on his back for food or whatever. But he was also dressed in an outfit that looked like he was riding a dinosaur. One of those deals where there's a dinosaur head coming out of his crotch and a tail coming out of his butt, but it's all just a weird suit that he's wearing. I wonder if that was just his own personal style, that he just wants to look rad. Or is he like delivering something to a kid's birthday party or something? I don't know what that was. It was kind of cool, I guess. There goes a little scooty scoot guy, though. They are still around. They're just not freaking everywhere. But yeah, I've noticed that the little occasional times that I bump into someone else who's traveling around is it's certainly not necessarily evident like there's something to talk about or something to like, there's no quick way to just, I don't know, like you think maybe because we're traveling around, like, hey, cool, we got that in common, we could talk about traveling around. But even in just the couple of minutes that we were overlapping, it's like, all right, I gave him the rundown of how all the laundry stuff worked. And he said like, in Vietnam, all the places I stayed not only had like laundry services, they were always asking me, got any laundry? We'll do your laundry. He said it was super duper easy to get laundry done. So I guess that's good to know. But yeah, then it was just that immediate sense of like, it's kind of good that my laundry's done right now. And I can just pack up my stuff and head off. Because if I was stuck here for another 20 minutes waiting for my laundry, like there was that distinct vibe of like, now what do we talk about? Once we talked about laundry, the next topic of conversation was not exactly obvious. Because I guess, I don't know, traveling, right? What even is traveling? Like, it's always so weird when you go places and it's like, oh, this is so different or exotic or interesting. But everywhere you go is it's just where other people live. It's just normal to them. I remember hearing that about like going to parts of South America that are supposedly, more dangerous places to travel. There's a Canadian guy on YouTube who had a hitchhiking channel. He doesn't do this anymore, but he used to just hitchhike the world. And I remember specifically when he was down in South America that, that is like the thing people told him is like, oh, down there, you shouldn't be hitchhiking. Maybe it's more dangerous. But then once he got there, all the locals that he met and friends that he made and people that let him couch surf and whatnot, to them, they were like, what do you mean? Like, what's dangerous about this? This is the most boring place in the world. It's just where I live. Where to them, the idea of like going to New York City, you know, some person from Brazil is like, I wouldn't go to New York City. Are you kidding? Gonna get robbed. Everyone has guns, you know, like they have this idea of it being dangerous. And of course, all these places can be dangerous, of course. But not if you're from there. If you're from there, you're just like, whatever, you know? It's just this idea of otherness. It's the other place, it's far away. I don't totally get how it works. I've heard things about how crazy it can be. But the reality of traveling is like, yeah, you're just going to where someone else lives and you're living there for a while. That's all. It's kind of boring in a good way. Ideally. When you're not, you know, stealing propaganda posters from fucking North Korea or whatever. Hey, an ATM. I did happen to use all of my cash in that laundromat. So perhaps I should do that. But anyway, yeah, that's an episode. Whatever. I mean, I guess I'm just like, is that really an episode? I didn't do anything. When do I ever do anything? When the fuck has this podcast ever been about doing something? I did laundry. If anything, that's probably more relevant than what I usually do. More useful, at least. And one more little scooter to finish things off. So yeah, the scooters, they do exist, but it's like, well, I don't know, a tenth as many scooters. Maybe Jeju City, though. I'm curious. I don't even know how many people live in Jeju City. I wonder how much it is like more of just the big city vibe. I'm not sure how big it really is. Maybe it's also just scooter town. Maybe it's just like every other South Korean city, where in Seogwipo, it's definitely more chill. No doubt about it. Hey, post McDonald's. And you know, if you only go to McDonald's every, I was going to say 4 days. Let's be realistic. Every 3 days. In that case, I don't even feel guilty about it. It feels good. It's delicious. It's wonderful. But, man, that ATM I tried to go to, this is one thing that's funny about Seogwipo, is it is, like I was saying, like super touristville. Like just so many, like, as many hotels as there are like houses in this neighborhood. It's like ridiculous. But that ATM could only take domestic cards. It's also right outside the big local market that is like the big cool thing to go to. And it's just funny around here that it's so geared toward tourists, but there's those little times when it's like, just a little further, please. Please just a little touch more. Because it was like the coffee shop thing. It's like trying to find a coffee shop that'll take foreign cards and stuff. Or be easily navigatable by an English tourist. Surprisingly hard to find. And it's like, dude, there's so many tourists around here. But only locals can use this ATM. And it's like an ATM outside of one of the convenience stores. It's not just some like little random thing. So it's just like, just come on, just a little more. Just give me a little more. The gaps are not quite bridged. Basically, I'm an entitled tourist and I wish everything. But yeah, no, I actually haven't gotten any money out since I've been here. I don't know, I guess I'll keep my eyes peeled for a 7-Eleven. I think they have latte machines. I think that'll work. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little surprised that these little cases where they're like, most of the way there, and it just doesn't, not quite all the way. It wouldn't seem weird except that there's so many tourists around here. I guess it's like ironic, kind of, is I don't remember having these random little problems other places. It's just funny that the place that outwardly seems the most touristy that I've been is still small towny in a way that even like Jeju wasn't. Anyway, while I was at the McDonald's, I did a quick little bit of research about Jeju City because I could tell just all I did was I took the bus from the airport and just through the city. So I only experienced it a little tiny bit. But just from that little bit, it was very clear that it's way, way, way bigger than Seogwipo, but I didn't really have a good sense of it. So I did a quick Google, and man, it is way bigger. Jeju City is 500,000 people, where Seogwipo is 50,000. And not just 50,000 for this area I'm in. It turns out that includes the entire southern half of the island. So pretty literally, everybody lives in the north. Nobody lives in the south, relatively speaking. So yeah, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, because you have population density-wise, this is by far the least populated place that I've been. And I like it. I like the island vibe. I like the touristy vibe even. I do like it. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised when not everything is the smoothest process of all time. But yeah, that does make me think, I'm not sure if I would want to do Jeju City. If it is just going to be a big city, I could just go back to Busan or Ulsan. Just walking into the market right now. But yeah, I feel like if I'm going to be on Jeju Island, the Seogwipo side seems kind of cooler, because at least this way I do get kind of a combination of tourist accommodatingness and just the legit small island experience, you know? I'm sure it's a lot easier to find a coffee shop in Jeju City, but it probably does feel a lot more like a city than it does a cool island. Man, there's these stalls. I'm not quite sure what they're selling, but they're like, they've got like propane flamethrowers that they're just like to like flame the top of whatever it is. And I feel like if you walked a little too close, your sleeve would ignite. It's like a fire show at the market. But I was also thinking, just spending 20 minutes sitting at McDonald's, or maybe just getting some food in me so that my brain turns on. Super duper obvious thing. It's funny that this just didn't occur to me in the moment. Where I was saying that the guy I just met, the German guy I just met at the laundromat, that we didn't necessarily have much to talk about beyond laundry. As I was eating my McDonald's, I was thinking about Tom from Germany, who I met on Aburayama in Fukuoka. And I was just kind of thinking like, oh yeah, it's funny how the vibe was so different with that guy, where we got along like peas in a pod. I immediately had that feeling of like, oh yeah, if I lived in Fukuoka, you know, when you just meet a person, but you're like, yeah, I'm going to keep hanging out with this person. I'm going to be friends with this person. It's nice when you get that feeling, and that's definitely the feeling I got from that dude on the mountain. Whereas this guy at the laundromat, I felt zero of that vibe. But then it occurred to me while I was eating my little chicken burger, like, oh yeah, what's the main difference here? It's just the venue, it's just where you meet people. This guy today I met at a laundromat. The only thing we had in common was laundry. The only point of comparison to each other's experiences is laundry. So literally we just talked about laundry, you know? I showed him how this laundry worked. He told me about laundry in Vietnam, and that's it. We did the laundry thing. Whereas Tom on the mountain, we talked about hiking. And he told me all about the different places that he went hiking and all this cool stuff. I remember he specifically had a story about this one long hike he was on where, you know, there weren't vending machines in the middle of nowhere, but there was a cooler. Somebody had a cooler halfway through this multi-day hike where you could get drinks and just leave money on the honor system, and just how cool that is. And yeah, we were, like I said, peas in a pod, fast friends. And the obvious difference is we met while hiking. You know, if I met that guy in a laundromat, we wouldn't have started talking about hiking. We probably would have talked about laundry. So the obvious thing here that just hadn't occurred to me when talking to fellow tourists is, where are you meeting these people? What activity are you doing when you meet them? If you meet them while you're doing nothing, then you probably have nothing to talk about. Whereas if you meet them while you're mutually doing a cool activity that you both like, then you can talk about the mutual activity that you both like. And you'll probably enjoy that conversation because it's about a mutual activity that you both like. So obvious. And you're like, oh yeah, of course when you meet someone at the laundromat, there's not much to hang your hat on besides the laundry. But anyway, just a couple random thoughts to wrap this up. Obviously, if you meet people while you're doing cool stuff, the conversation is a lot more cool. And Jeju City is enormous. Man, I was just shocked. I was shocked it was that much bigger. I knew it was bigger, but it's like a full-on city. It's like the real deal. And then second place is this place, the Seogwipo, and this place is teeny tiny, the teeny tiniest. So tiny that if you have a foreign bank card, or there's a composed coffee, I'm looking at down the street, a different branch of it, but that's the the coffee chain that, according to a recent Google Maps review, may not take your card and doesn't accept cash. Like, this place is wee little place. But all right, there's an episode down. No specific plans for next time. I mean, I should just chill out until I am more healed up. But we'll see. We will see. When I wake up and it's all beautiful outside and I feel that pull. The beautiful lull, the dangerous tug that I just want to go outside and do something. It's so much harder to do nothing. I hate sitting at home doing nothing. It fucking sucks. I want to go out in the world and do nothing. So, I'm sure that mania will overtake me, and I'll go explore somewhere. So join me next episode to see where and what that is. Thank you for listening. Adios.